Hey guys, this is Cam Interviews. We are here with Emarosa. I know this tour is pretty early on so far, but how have crowd reactions been the past 2 days that you guys have been playing?
Please. Well,
they've been awesome. Having a really good time.
No, it's only day 3 today, but we're hitting a new fan base for this band, and the reaction's been really cool. So I'm excited about it.
And so you guys have already toured previously to this tour, but you didn't have the record fully out. So how have the crowd reactions been different? You know, fans knowing the lyrics and interacting a lot more, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely like people. I'm watching people sing the songs, and I feel more comfortable because 95% of this is all new. Like 95% of this is we're playing all new songs. So I feel like I'm starting to come into my own now.
Everyone hasn't heard Versus, so how much of that are you guys playing on this tour?
A lot of it. Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're playing like one old song, and I love that. Because it's a new page in the band's book, so I feel like it was the best, especially when we're hitting such a diverse crowd. I felt like it was, I think the whole band felt like it was the best choice was to play as much new material as we could.
So you guys mentioned in a previous interview that you wrote a ton of stuff while you were in the studio. Like you were writing a lot of music while you were in the studio, which is different from a lot of other bands. So was that kind of stressful as you guys were being kind of pressured for time, this valuable time that you're spending in the studio?
I'd say definitely. We went in there with a different concept of what we wanted the record to be and kind of changed it when we got in the studio together and started writing tons of music. We kept very few of those, but we're very, very happy of the final product and what came out.
So I know you guys said you wrote 30 to 40 tracks, so I mean, what's going to happen with the rest of those? Are they just going to be...
Yeah, I mean, they didn't, I don't know, they didn't make the record for a reason. So, and I feel like if they weren't good enough to make the record, I'm not crazy about B-sides and stuff, because I feel like those songs we didn't really feel like represented the band, at this time. So, and a lot of them were written and not tracked, so they're just gone. It's just stuff that didn't really spark. I think that's with any band. They write there's a lot of bands that have written stuff that people will never hear because it just didn't culminate.
So I wanted to talk about how Versus fits in with the rest of Emarosa's discography. How do you guys think it fits in with past stuff?
Fits in with past stuff. It's still an Emarosa record, I'll tell you that. So that's the only real way I guess it fits in with past stuff. We're still the same band, still writing similar music to a certain point, but we're still trying to grow and look for something different, create something new, something that people haven't heard before, and music that we love and really proud of. And I think Versus is a great representation of that.
So the release took a while because it was done for a while, and but good publicity because you guys had the most selling records for this band, which is awesome. So. Do you think that the wait was worth it and makes it that much sweeter to have the success?
Oh man, obviously the answer to that would be yeah, the wait is worth it. But looking back, it was especially for me because I had joined the band a year and a half before the record actually even came out. Yeah. So if you can imagine, just writing and going through that, and some people knew here and there, and so the comparison started, and then the doubt started, and things like that. But overall, we took the time that was necessary to make the best record the record that we wanted to make, and it proved worth it because, like you said, it did the best numbers that this band has ever done, and I think that's saying a lot, especially coming off of a 3.5-year hiatus of doing nothing. I think that it did the job.
So I wanted to ask you specifically about the change as a vocalist and being a replacement. It's hard having the fan criticism. So I mean, if how would you like kind of summarize the experience as being, you know, someone that's, you know, replacing another in a band, especially a frontman, and then also kind of talk about like a message that you would have to those fans that kind of oppose, you know, or say, oh, I like the old Emarosa, and like they're not ready to accept verses.
I have to be careful.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, man. You know, people relate music to a time in their life, in my opinion. This is all my opinion. People relate music to a time in their life, you know. And so somebody was going through something when those old records came out. That was 4 years ago, you know, and even longer. Like, and so they're gonna attach those records forever, you know, like hands down. That's just how it is. While this is still Emarosa, like it is a new band. You know what I mean? At the same time, it is. You know, people are like, oh, you guys are like breathing such a breath of fresh air for the post-hardcore like genre. I'm like, that's because it's not post-hardcore. Like, you know what I mean? It's like an alternative rock band, and it's like, so then they're like, well, why didn't you change your name? Well, you know, and I've said this before. It's like, you know, exactly. You know, you didn't change your name when you went through puberty. It's like this band has grown up. Like, if somebody wanted Relativity Part 2 or, you know, Self-Titled Part 2, like after 4 years of that record, it's like, well, you know, in my opinion, their musical taste has just not changed. Like, and that's okay. Like, you know, people like what they like. It's not going to hurt my feelings that somebody doesn't like it. Saying that it's not as good, that's opinion. It's all relative. You know what I mean? In my opinion, it's the best Emarosa record. In Emarosa fans' opinion, judging by the numbers, it's their favorite record. So, you know, the message, man, whew. I don't know. There's going to be comparisons. I mean, it is what it is. Like, it doesn't bother me anymore. At first, before the record came out, it was like, you know, and still, like, it's still like, you know, it beat down on me a lot and put me in a really bad place because I was like, did I fuck up? Like, why did I join this band? You know what I mean? Like, to be honest, like, because I never had that before. And these people are, you know, critiquing, and it's just kids at a computer, you know. But at the end of the day, like, I make music for myself, and this band spent 4 years finding somebody to sing, and they chose me, and I think that says enough. And if, you know, the people that love this band, you know, I appreciate that they respect the band's decision to choose me, and, you know, despite, you know, whoever might say, you know, that sucks, or it's not the same, or of course it's not the same. Like, that was the point, to not be the same, you know. So
100%.
It's just, I don't know, I just do it for me. And it's getting to the point where I almost enjoy now pissing people off. Like, it's like, you know, because they're so, yeah, like, there's so many bands, you know what I mean? There's so many bands out there, and to hate on something because you don't like it, when it's like, spend your energy elsewhere, you know, spend your energy on something that is positive.
So yeah, kind of talking about, you know, the process it did take for you to get to this point. You guys can both talk about, you know, just like the whole process, because I don't think people understand. I think some people think that, oh, Bradley just joined and that was it. But I've read that, you know, it was actually a long process, and you were in talks for a while and then not, and then in talks again, and then that's when it started happening, when there was a second follow-up with Dave Shapiro. So
this is my recollection. I got an email from Jordan, who's our programmer keyboard player, and he said, hey, this is Jordan from Emarosa. Just wondering if you want to come jam. And I was like, yeah, I want to come jam. So then I took a bus down to Lexington, and we jammed for a while. And it felt good. And I went back to Detroit, and I actually accepted the position. I was like, yeah, let's do this. I went back to Detroit, and I had one more tour to do with my old band. And I kind of got cold feet, and like the whole pressure of, like, you know what I mean, taking over the vocals position, and I wasn't sure anymore, and so I backed out. Fast forward maybe a year, roughly a year. Our booking agent, Dave Shapiro, he hit me up and was like, hey man, will you reconsider? Like, well, he was just like, you know, I'd like it if you'd reconsider joining. And at that time, I wasn't very happy with where I was, you know, musically in my career. And so I took him up, and then it took some convincing, you know, because I had backed out, so rightfully so. I don't know how that whole conversation went, but eventually they had me come back down, and we jammed, and that's when, you know. So this has been like a 2-year process, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
2.5 year process almost. And so it's like, man, people think like, oh, they found somebody and now they're promoting the record and the record's out. It's like, no, that's like 2 years later now. So the time was taken. It was, man.
The timing had to be right for everybody. Bradley had to have his ducks in a row, and so did we, and everybody had a lot of stuff going on. Band never slowed down, always kept on pushing forward, but the timing just wasn't right for us to come together until, a little over a year ago.
So, I mean, did you think that this would happen? Like, do you think you'd be here today playing this tour, like, when Bradley first, decided not?
I knew we would eventually, but, like I said, timing was everything with this. We didn't want to force art. We didn't want to force creativity. Just kind of had to happen. And I'm really grateful to be here right now, definitely.
Yeah, this is rad.
All right, so I want to talk about, too, you said in an interview that you play guitar and piano.
We're going to talk about that. I'm just kidding. Go on. No, please.
For guitar and piano, and so did you write anything off this new record, like instrumentally?
Yep. Yes, I did.
Which parts? That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Okay. There's let's see. I mean, it was such a collaborative effort. The only one that really stands out is that the song 100 Crowns. I kind of picked up a guitar and started diving into that song because I wanted to write a song that felt, we made it an Emarosa song, but I wanted it to kind of feel like where I came from, like, so I'm really proud of that one. But I mean, the record as a whole was such a collaborative effort. Like, I don't remember. There's so much. Like, you got to think of when we recorded the record. Like, thinking about now, like, who wrote that part? Like,
the record just came out, but the record was done, pretty much last year.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
All right, so you guys mentioned in a previous interview that a second music video might be coming out around this time.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give any hints as to like what that song is or when it might be coming out from now?
Oh yes, I would love to give a hint. That's for the song "People Like Me We Just Don't Play." It should be out soon. I would like to be out very soon. Probably when is this going to air?
Tomorrow.
It's not going to be out by then.
No.
But I mean,
Cool, but
yeah.
no. Still got some work to get done.
It'll be out this month for sure. Okay. For sure this month. I hope.
On this tour.
On this
Yes.
tour. Yeah.
All right, so lastly, guys, if you could just talk about your favorite song off the record personally, and then where Emarosa will be after this specific tour. Like, what will you guys be doing?
My favorite song on the record, oh man, that's hard. Just listen to or play or just...
Yeah, like just overall, I guess.
I'm just sitting at my house jamming our own record, bobbing my head.
Don't lie, you do it.
I absolutely do. I'm not lying, I was just making a statement. I would have, 1996 on Bavard is my favorite. It's a very personal song. I feel like I've said a lot that I wanted to say. And so that one's my favorite. It's one of my favorites to play live too. After this tour, let's see, I'm going to go and eat Thanksgiving dinner with my family. I think the whole band is going to eat Thanksgiving dinner with their own respective families, not my family.
And your personal favorite?
It goes back and forth between a couple a lot, but I'll just say I'll just wait for right now. That was something that I really was proud of with this band. I think everybody did a really great job with that one.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for having us. And
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
yeah, and this concludes the interview, and this is Keim Interviews. Take it easy, guys.